Okay. Whoops. Oh, pardon me. Okay. Just waiting for one to turn up. Now I'm on Facebook and YouTube. Okay, hello. This is one of my regularly scheduled lives. So while we're waiting, I'd love to know where you're from. I'm here in Vancouver, Canada, and it is freezing here. So I've got my beanie or my toque on. Yeah, it's very cold here today. Okay. I don't even turn my heat on for about almost 6 months out of the year, but certainly in winter it gets turned on. Okay, so where are you from? Port Perry, Ontario. Oh, I've never heard of Port Perry. I'm assuming it's on the lake. Port Perry. West Virginia. Years and years ago, I ended up on one of the lakes. It was by Thunder Bay. And we ended up going, a friend and I ended up going out in a canoe. And I didn't know that lakes were so dangerous. A storm came out. We almost got taken out in the middle of the lake, and no life vests or anything. Could have been killed. Okay. Michigan. Snowy Prince George. Oof. My heat's been on since September. Yeah, mine's been on for a while, probably October. Addison, Michigan. Or is that Missouri? Is that Mississippi? No. What is that? MI? Is that Mississippi? MI? Washington, Ontario. Hello, everyone. Okay. Michigan. I said that, didn't I? Michigan? Yeah. Okay. Well, then what's Mississippi? Must be MS. Okay. I thought I knew all so I'm Canadian, but I thought I knew all the states by their, Okay, so let's get going now. My name's Lisa. I'm a parenting coach, a mom, and a grandmother. And if you go on the link above, you can see my free behavior board and my boot camp courses and coaching. So, and we do have, just because I'm doing the live, I'm going to mention it here. We're going to be announcing this, I think, tomorrow in our newsletter. We've got a Black Friday sale coming up just on the courses, the boot camp courses, those 2 courses. And so I don't know why it's called Black Friday, because it goes for a few days after that. But anyway, and on Amazon, I don't know why they call it that. But anyway, tough day in first grade. Okay. Well, you're going to hate my answer. I'm gonna read this out. How can grandparents help their kids parent? If they ask, you can help, but if not, keep it to yourself. Yeah, keep it to yourself. No one wants unsolicited advice. You turn up here, you're going to get my advice, because it's solicited. But yeah, I've never given unsolicited parenting advice, and I'm a grandmother too. But yeah, if they ask, but not if they ask. Kentucky, hello, Kentucky. By the way, I just want to mention there is one of the fake accounts that posts all my videos. People think it's me. It's not. It's Joel Mayo, Joel Mayo. And they're taking money from parents here on Facebook. It's not me. That's a fake account. We're having a really hard time shutting it down. It's just bothering me because they're taking money so from people, and it's not me. But they're just using all my videos as if it's my account. I only have one account. It's BratBusters Parenting. I am not Joel Mayo. So just wanted to mention that. We've tried shutting it down many, many times. I don't know why they won't shut it down. But anyway. Okay. Toddler potty training tips. It's a whole system how you potty train. I train my kids in 2.5 days, and it's in the boot camp course for toddlers. But it's a whole system. I can't go into it here. But yeah, I trained my son in 1 day and my daughter in 2 days. And I was already a leader, so I had a bit of an edge. But yeah, lots of parents are having great success with that system. But they're kids. Nothing's for sure with kids. Kearney, New Jersey. Kearney. Never heard of that. Okay, my 5.5-year-old keeps putting his sleeves in his mouth, soaked his jacket too. This has just recently started. What could this be? My telling him to stop. Yeah, I don't know. They do tend to get, we all go through habits in life. And, so I don't know why he's doing that. Did something happen, or has it just become a habit? I know lately I've been chewing the inside of my cheeks. I was just thinking the other day, why am I doing this? I just started doing it. So if you could figure out why I'm chewing the inside of my cheeks all the time, then maybe I could figure that out too. I don't know why we do these things. Nothing's bothering me. I don't know what, So yeah, it's a habit. I don't know why. I have put down the ages. I can't answer if I don't have an age. This was so cute. I asked the parents if I could share this because I thought it was so cute. I was talking to a client today, and they've got a 2-year-old, and whenever he gets mad, he takes his shoes off. So he gets mad, off come the shoes, no matter where they are. Be out somewhere or wherever they are, off come the shoes. I just thought that was so cute. And the parents were frustrated. It's funny because often I laugh and the parents are trying to solve and I'm laughing, but that is cute. So yeah, whenever he gets mad, he takes off his shoes. It's like a show of anger, I guess. Oh, that was really cute. Okay, what would you suggest about a 7-year-old that's always negotiating about everything you ask her? Well, she doesn't trust you for one thing. That's not leadership. So yeah, she thinks that she can bend you. In other words, your word doesn't mean anything to her. It's a lack of trust, a lack of leadership. So work on yourself, and then she won't do that. She won't question everything. She's only questioning because she knows she has a chance of changing. And be careful what you say. Maybe you are saying the wrong thing and empty threats. And then you pull back on that. So you've trained her to do that, by the way. That's a learned behavior. Okay. Oh, goodness. Pardon me. Sorry about that. So I'm just looking at all my notes. We've been asking people if they want us to do 2 podcasts every week. So we're looking into doing that potentially soon, doing 2 podcasts a week because it's going really well. And so yeah, we just did a poll and most people are saying they would like 2 podcasts a week. So wouldn't mind even in here if you wouldn't mind, if you do listen to the podcast. My daughter and I do that together. Okay, this is the 5-year-old who chooses sleeves. So we also have an 18-month and a 7-week-old. It's also a lot of not listening. Yeah, work on your leadership skills. Check out the behavior board, and they have to be 5 years old, 3 years old and over to be on it. So he could be on that. And if you want to go one step further, check out the boot camp course. There's a Black Friday sale coming up, starting, I think, Friday. I'm not sure. I don't do all that. My daughter does all that. But anyway, that's coming up. So if you're listening on the what was I going to say? Yeah, no, if you're subscribed to the newsletter, you'll find out. I think it's on my website too. It's BratBusters.com. Katie said, I'd listen to 7 podcasts a week. You know what's funny? Thanks for that, Katie. Is I don't listen to podcasts. I just started listening. And I kind of get it because you can listen to it anywhere. It doesn't take up, you don't have to watch it. So you can be driving. So you can listen to podcasts anywhere. So I kind of starting to get it. I just never found any that I liked. I guess I kept trying to like them and then I just never found anything I liked. But yeah, I just found one I really like. And so I'm listening to it. And no, it's not mine. 6-year-old ADHD. Well, the ADHD doesn't matter to me because those are the kids. That's all the kids I learned all this stuff from. So how do we prevent the constant whining and tantrums? Check out the behavior board that just says if he's still having tantrums past the age of 3.5 or 4, it means it must work. They have to work. If tantrums get attention, they're working. So yeah, just check out the behavior board, or you can look up. I have tons of videos on tantrums and how you deal with them. So you can just look that up. That's all free. Or you can look into the boot camp course for 3 to 12 years old. And the Black Friday sale starts on Friday. So just letting you know. Yeah, someone said, I like that your daughter's doing the podcast with you. That's my daughter, Amy. She's my business partner. She just came on board with me, I think in August, about mid-August, like full time. And because she was working part-time, just sort of on the side. And, but yeah, she does the podcast with me. Isn't that ironic? You know, I teach parenting and now I'm working with my daughter. So I'm her parent as, you know, it's funny that things come full circle, right? So yeah, she's working with me. It was funny. Someone, we had this hater. You get haters, you get crazy people, right? So I don't know what platform they were on, but evidently my daughter was telling me we had this person. They commented on every single post, just what horrible person I was. And I have 2 sons, and I'm not talking to either one of them. Well, then we came out with the podcast I'm doing with my daughter. I don't think they're posting anymore. I don't have 2 sons, and I talk to both my kids. So, but it would just struck me as funny. So they were kind of, you know, I guess what they were saying wasn't making much sense anymore, was it? Yeah, it's funny. I know I don't know why, but it doesn't bother me when people come at me because they obviously have issues, right? So if it helps them to get the stuff out of their system, that's fine. Okay. My 3-year-old has tantrums in public. I always ignore it. Yeah, if she's a runner, you said. So you always restrain them. If they're going to hurt themselves, hurt someone else, or damage property, you physically restrain them to keep them safe. But you don't look at them or talk to them. You just hold on to them if they're going to run. So yeah, you physically, but you still ignore them. You're just keeping them safe by holding on to them. Sorry, I was reading a question, but I don't quite understand it. So I'm going to move on. I taught my 4-year-old about stranger danger, and now she refuses to speak to anyone. Should I be concerned? No, my daughter was very cautious of people too, but I never taught stranger danger. Most people, most freaks who do wrong things with children they know them. So it's not usually strangers anyway. I just talked about safety, body safety, and how I talk about that a lot with my kids. So yeah, but no, I wouldn't worry about it. I'd rather them be safe and rude to people than, you know what I mean? Like she'll get over it. She'll learn. But yeah, I never taught stranger danger. I teach your body, your rights, how you're allowed to say no to anybody that makes you uncomfortable, but it's usually someone they know. I won't go on about it, but yeah, I talk about that a lot in coaching. Any advice for split custody homes? My 5-year-old is having a lot of trouble at school, but getting both homes on the same page has been impossible. I can't help you control another adult. It's impossible. But sometimes I will be hired by one parent. Kids only need one leader, and they will adjust back to your home when they get home. Anyway, so you'd be surprised how many exes agree to work with me, because like someone will hire me, and they're at war with their ex. But I'll say, look, you know, for the kids' sake, would you guys be willing to both talk to me? So you'd be surprised how many both will. And they'll usually watch my videos for a while, and then they'll realize I'm not here to judge. I'm here to fix stuff, right? And my goal is I want happy parents, happy kids. So you'd be amazed how many do. I'm amazed how many exes will agree to be in on sessions. So yeah, if that's possible, that would be coaching probably. Oh, we already have a podcast. We just started it. My daughter and I are doing it. Actually, we do one a week. We're just going to be going to 2 a week because it's going really well. It's called BratBusters Parenting, and it's on all the platforms. So yeah, we only started that about 2 months ago, and so it's brand new. It's doing really well. So yeah, we're going to increase we'll do 2 a week soon. I don't. She plans everything. I don't know. She just told me today, Mom, we're going to be doing 2 a week. Oh, okay. I'll just do whatever she says. But what's so funny is she's the behind the scenes person in the business, and I like the camera. So when we're doing the podcast, we film them usually 2 at a time. So after that, I'm ready to go. I could do 6 of them. And she's like, yeah, no, I've only got 2 in me. Because she's on the video too, because you can see it on YouTube. It's just funny how different we are. It wears her out and it boosts me up. Okay, as a parent, when asking your kid XYZ 3 times, kid XYZ, is that ADHD, WXYZ? Like, if you've been following me for a while, is that why you wrote that? Then you end up yelling at them. Okay, how can we adjust our ways to be a leader and stop yelling? My fuse gets short. I'm trying to, but our kids 6, 4, 2, and 4th arriving soon. I love following you straight to the point. No BS. Yeah, I don't know how to BS. Anyway, yeah, I don't repeat myself. I say something once, then I take action. But you got to be ready to go. Don't say something and then not be ready to take action. So how old are your kids again? 6, 4, 2. The 2 older ones could be on the behavior board. I suggest putting a behavior board up. It's completely free. Check out the link above, or go to BratBusters.com. And yeah, if you want the boot camp course, this is bad for sales right now, but I'm telling everyone, if you're here now, you're just going to get a bit of a head start. There is a sale for Black Friday, just on the boot camp courses, not coaching. Coaching will never go on sale. From Delta, Pennsylvania. That must be Pennsylvania. I love watching you. I teach 2-year-olds for the past 20 years and also work with ADHD and autistic children for many years. I have 4 older children and 4 grands. I parent and teach very much like you. I love you. Thanks so much for your support. I'm sure there's lots of ways of parenting out there that work, but I just did find one that works. So, you know, if it resonates with you, or if you do the same thing, then, you know, we know how well this works. If you have a similar style, I do not. I'm very upfront with kids. I say it like it is. And also I say what I mean, and I mean what I say. I follow through. But also I know how to connect. I'm really fun with kids. So that the connection is your strength with children. That is your superpower. People used to ask me, how do you get such good behavior out of kids? And I said, oh, I'm funny and I'm fun. And people were like, what? You know, but really that is your superpower, connecting. Fun is their love language. How do I deal with my 3-year-old and a 1.5-year-old? They will not sit at the table. Well, the 1.5-year-old, I'm assuming, is in a high chair. But yeah, just have a rule. So, you know, get up from the table, and then they have a consequence if they do, but not with the little one, but the older one. So do they ever have snacks around the house? Like parents, this is a lot of parents struggle with mealtime because you're not consistent. So do they have snacks? Can they ever have any food walking around the house? They don't understand why they have to sit and eat some food and not other food. My kids knew they never got anything, no drink, nothing, unless they were sitting up at the table. They knew that. They never even questioned it. They didn't know any different. They didn't know you could drink and eat if you weren't sitting at a table. They had no concept of that. So yeah, I was very consistent. So consistency is the key with that. I remember once my son was 18 months old, and we were living in Australia where my kids are born and raised. And we were visiting my family in Canada here. I'm living here now again, Canada. And we were visiting here, and he was 18 months old, and there was all these other kids around too, in this big family get together. And there was chips and candy and also cookies, whatever, on the coffee table. And all the kids were walking around eating all this stuff, and they were dropping crumbs in the bowls too, which was disgusting. But anyway, like I just thought it was gross. But anyway, whatever. So I never ate any of that. But anyway, so they were saying, why isn't your little boy eating anything? And I said, oh, he doesn't eat unless he's sitting at a table. So they got out a little chair and a table for him, and they sat him down, and then they put a little plate with some chips, and he sat and ate it like that, all by himself at this little table. But he just didn't know any different. To him, it was like he didn't know how to eat anything unless he was sitting at a table. So yeah, consistency. Don't be inconsistent. It's very confusing. Here, you can walk around with a cookie, but you have to sit and eat your vegetables. It doesn't make any sense, right? So I'm guessing that might be the problem. It might not. There's other reasons. That's the most common one. 7-year-old child has problem making friends, so he does not have a lot of options to play. His dad and I spend so much time playing with him just to keep him off electronics, but we can't get anything. Get him out to do things. Get him out. Like, I was basically an only child because my brother was like 16 years older than me. I was raised with 3 adults in the house. So, but I'm very outgoing. But yeah, you got to get them out doing things. You got to get them out and about. Joining things. Go to the community center, join gymnastics, there's a million different things to do. So yeah, joining things. A 11-year-old boy has a horrible attitude. He does not think what he says, things, and attitude. I try to ignore it. Should we keep ignoring, or is there a better way? That's a tell. His bad attitude means you're not a leader. Work on your leadership skill, and the attitude goes away. It's just the way it is. You got to earn that good attitude. You have to earn respect. You have to work for it. I worked my butt off to get respect with kids. It didn't come easy to me, like, well, it does now. But I mean, when I first started learning how to do this, I had to figure it all out. So yeah, you got to earn that respect. That's all it is. And I never address attitude. There's no point. It's just a tell. It means he doesn't respect you. You can't say, you got to respect me. You got to earn it first. You don't tell them to respect you. You got to earn it. Prove yourself. So anyway, check out the boot camp course. It's up in the link above. It's in my BratBusters.com, but there is a Black Friday sale coming up on my boot camp courses. So except Amy's fruit snacks, apparently. God, you watch me regularly. My daughter, she would have been older by that time. I'm going to tell that story. Such a good one. Thanks, Tabitha. Thanks, Tabitha. Anyway, this was such a good one. My daughter was such a sweet little thing, very easy. And she had to have fruit every day, and she didn't like fruit. I don't really like it either. I like vegetables, but I never liked fruit a lot when I was a kid. Anyway, but she had to have fruit every single day. So she liked these, supposedly liked, she would eat these fruit cups, and they were nothing but apples and raspberries. And that was the one she would eat. Anyway, one day, and I'd hand it to her, and she would go sit at the table and eat it, by the way, but I would leave the room. So, but yeah, good point, Tyler. But anyway, so one day I was going through I had a box in the pantry, and it was where I put all my potatoes and onions. You know how you sort of just store them in a pantry? And I go in there and I look, and there's all these fruit cups that had not been eaten. They were like full, and they were all moldy. She had been going behind my back, obviously when I wasn't in the kitchen. She'd been hiding them in the potato and onion box. And I opened up the door. When I saw this, I went, what is in the onion box? All I heard from the other room was, uh-oh. She was in big trouble, mister. I'll tell you. What have you been doing? What, can you get in here? No. I was so surprised because she was such an easy kid, but she did that. I was shocked she did that. Anyway. Uh-oh. So yeah, she did have to eat them. Yeah, she had to sit up at the table if she was eating it, but obviously she wasn't eating it, so she just put it away. That was a good one. My daughter and I were talking today. We were working today, and she said, oh, you should tell that story. And I can't remember what it was. It was something funny. Anyway, I'm going to tell this again because you might be new. You might have just joined me. This was cute. I asked the client if I could tell this. I thought it was so cute. They have a 2-year-old. I was working with them today. When their 2-year-old gets mad, he takes his shoes off. Doesn't matter where they are. Off come the shoes every time he gets mad. I guess that's his sign of, by the way, I'm mad. Here's the shoes. I thought that was so cute. I haven't heard that before. Yeah, whenever he's mad, he just takes his shoes off. That's his show of anger. And I couldn't figure out why I can't figure out why he would do that. I literally, I can't, we didn't go into it because there was no point. It's not going to get us where we want to go anyway. But I don't know why he would do that. Like usually I can figure kids out, but he's 2, right? I always say they're nuts anyway. You can't figure them out. So but that's a perfect example of toddlers. You can't figure them out. How do you deal with autism meltdowns? I don't discuss autism. It's more of a special needs, and I only discuss autism in coaching. So I can't generalize here because they are special needs. They're all different. So yeah, it's only a coaching issue. I actually specialize in crisis work, like teen crisis work. That's how I started my business. And but now I'm just always trying to prevent that more than anything. I still do it, but I'm trying to prevent that. Okay, this is Holly. I used your temper tantrum method and it worked. That's you ignore tantrums. I got lots of videos on that, by the way. But now I have another problem. I am 5 months. pregnant, and my almost 2-year-old is attached at the hip. I can't do the dishes or cook dinner without him hanging on my leg and crying, whining. He's constantly wanting to be held. Even if I leave the room, he yells my name and freaks out about. I don't know what to do. Please help. You're going to have to let him cry a little bit. I would take him in another room or potentially at my feet and set him up with a game and start playing and then say, okay, I'll be right back. You can lie. I'll be right back. And then just start doing the dishes or cooking dinner. And he will eventually get over it. You're just going to have to let him cry and whine a little bit, okay? Because his crying and whining to you, you feel you have to take action. You don't always have to take action. So you've already set him up with something to do. He's safe. He's in the same room as you. He'll survive. So yeah, you're going to have to put up with some crying and whining. Yeah, thanks, Tabitha. That was such a good one. I couldn't believe it. And the funniest part to me was when I said, what are these fruit cups doing in the onion box? And I heard that tiny little voice in the other room. Uh-oh. I love kids. What were we laughing at today? And she said, you got to tell that story today. I can't remember what it was. Oh, we were just cracking up. It was something with my son. I can't remember what it was. Anyway, it might come to me. What do I do with my 7-year-old who refuses to listen to anything I tell her to do? Okay, you got to work on yourself. That is a tell. It means that you're not a leader. It means that your 7-year-old does not respect you. You got to earn that respect and they'll listen. So yeah, you're not fixing kids. You're fixing yourself here. You lead, they will follow. Everyone wants to fix their kids as if their kids are broken. They're just reacting to your parenting. Work on yourself and that will improve. You're the leader here. Work on your leadership skills and they will listen. It's just the way it is. Okay, oh, my back's killing me today. I bought this back massager. I want to put it on now, but my daughter uses these lives for our videos, so I can't have this noise. It's vibration and heat. Holy moly, it's fantastic. See, I'm dying to put it on right now. Anyway. Why on earth did I not get that years and years ago? I don't know. Anyway. Okay, my son is 7 and has major meltdowns. Was that the same person who asked us? There's a few 7-year-old questions in here. That's good. Major meltdowns that will last for over an hour. He freaks out because he feels his clothes are uncomfortable and makes everyone in the house miserable with the constant screaming and whining. And sometimes during transition, I don't know what's going on there. Just try the behavior board. It's the start of how to be a leader. It's completely free. It's at BratBusters.com, which is my website. So check that out. Get the behavior board, start there. So yeah, I don't know why he's doing that. I don't know. But yeah, if you're a leader, they generally calms them down. That's the way that works. Your leadership calms them down. So everyone wants to fix kids, but we're not doing that here. We're fixing parents. We're teaching parents. Work on yourself. You know, I got respect with hundreds of kids over the years, toddlers up to teenagers. Did I just get, and I never worked with easy kids, by the way. Never. I was always handed the ones, oh, good luck with this one, you know, because I was a behavioral mentor kind of thing. So, but I managed to get respect with all of them. Was I just got them on a good day or was it me? You lead, they will follow. A leader makes them feel good about themselves. A leader makes them like themselves when they're with you. Therefore, they want to please you. It's just a natural thing. If you're with someone who makes you feel good about yourself, don't you want to please them, even as an adult? That's what this is all about. You're bringing out the best in them. And then they feel great about themselves, and then they treat you great. Oops, I have to move over to Instagram now. If you want to follow me over there, it's BratBusters Parenting. The Black Friday sale is coming up this Friday. Check out the link above or go to BratBusters.com, and you can get my free behavior board, my boot camp courses, which are going on sale on Friday. It's only the 2 courses, and you can look into coaching. That's not on sale. So I'm also on YouTube, which is where I save all of these lives. So happy parenting, and I'm hopping over to Instagram. Bye now. God, I'm dying to put that back thing on. It's just too noisy. I wonder if I could just put the heat on. No. Okay. Oh, good. I'll be on time. Oh, perfect. Okay. So I'm on YouTube and Instagram. How do you handle tantrums around other people? I don't have age-appropriate kids yet, but just wondering how that looks. Do I stop what I'm doing or who I'm talking to? Wait for the bus with my kid? What do you mean by age-appropriate? I kind of deal with tantrums like this way from about 16 months on. If they're having a tantrum and I'm talking to someone and they're okay with doing this, I would probably just continue what I'm doing. I don't get into a conversation when they're having a tantrum, but if they're having one while I'm talking to someone, I would probably just pretend to keep talking, even though we're just going, yeah, this is really annoying, isn't it? Yes, this is. Let's just pretend we don't notice it. So yeah, I'd probably do that. How do you address clinginess of a 2-year-old? Just say you're okay and just peel them off you and give them a book and then go do what you got to do. You got to let them go through that. You got to allow them to cry a little bit if they just want to hang on to you all the time. My daughter wasn't a crier, but she was glued to me. She was like a magnet with me. So, and I remember I used to sew all their clothes and all my clothes too. And I remember I had a sewing room, and with my son, he was the older one, I had a gate that I used to put across it. And I was literally like 2 feet away from him. And he was on the other side of the gate happily playing when he was little. And we'd talk while I'm sewing and chat. My daughter, on the other hand, would hang onto the gate and look like this. She wouldn't cry. She wouldn't whine, but she just wanted to be right up against me. And she was such an easy little girl. So I just took down the gate, or I brought her in with me because I couldn't let her get in there when I wasn't there because it's a sewing room, right? So I sat her down beside me and she was happy as anything. Now she was right up against me rather than 2 feet away. She was happy as anything. But yeah, I didn't give her attention, but I did allow her to be right near me. Like I was still sewing. I wasn't stopping what I was doing, but it was very important to her to always be touching me. She was just like a magnet. So when she was really little, that's what I did. But then as she got older, I pushed her out to be more independent from me. And when I used to go to the gym every day. So when my kids were up on their feet, that's when I started going to the gym every day because they could go in daycare. I didn't want them crawling around daycare, but once they were up on their feet and steady on their feet, I went back to the gym. So she hated it because, of course, I'm dropping her off with strangers and I was only gone for an hour. And my son loved it, though. He used to cry on the weekends because he knew he'd see me getting ready for the gym, but he couldn't go because they didn't have daycare on weekends. So he would cry because he wanted to go. That was his social life. So with him, I had all my friends at gym. So we'd do an aerobics class and then we'd all chat for an hour. So I'd leave him in there for like 2 hours. Poor daycare ladies. Anyway, they used to laugh. They used to say, ladies, we saw you walk and it took you a whole hour to get down here from the aerobics room. So yeah, I know. But with my daughter, right after it was finished, I raced down because I knew she would just be standing there waiting for me. So yeah, she was just more clingy. So, but I forced her to go into things. I didn't let that stop me from doing stuff. And I also thought it was good for her to learn how to separate from mom. And when dad would come home, I would often leave the room or go out and hang up laundry in the back or something so she could have some non-mom time. They survived. It's funny, now we work together full time. So I see her every day. She's 30. So yeah. Someone said to me a while ago, they said, how often do you talk to your daughter? And I said, oh, you mean how many times a day? They were serious. They didn't realize. I said, oh, really? And I said, oh, yeah. That was funny. Oh, you mean how many times a day? Like, I didn't know what they meant. I thought they knew we talked every day. And now, because we work together, it's a lot of shop talk. We talk a lot about business. Okay. Can dedicated fans get free courses? Haha, just kidding. Oh, Tabitha, you're really on the ball today. Yeah, we do have the Black Friday sale coming up. It's just going to be on the courses. If you want to know more, go on BratBusters.com. It'll be announced, I think, tomorrow. I don't do all that stuff. My daughter does that. So, Any advice for toddler separation anxiety? She has a meltdown anytime we leave the room. Make the goodbye quick and no big deal. So, but you said leave the room. Are you just leaving the room? Or are you leaving her somewhere? If you're leaving them somewhere, you do, oh, okay, see you later. And you leave on that hook at the end, like see you later. And then out you go. Fast, do the dump and run really fast. The faster you do the goodbye, usually the faster they get over it. But if you drag it out, also don't make the hello a big deal either. Oh, hello, my sweet precious. Just say, oh, hi. Okay, let's go shopping now. So don't make a big deal out of the goodbye or the hello. And then they don't tend to think it's as big a deal. But yeah, they're going to go through this stuff. That's okay. Daycares are used to this stuff. And they always say the worst is when parents drag it out because they know it makes it worse and worse and worse. Okay. Oh, is it okay when you're ignoring the tantrum, someone's asking, do you get eye contact? No way. That's not ignoring. Ignoring is no touching, no talking to, or no eye contact. They can be grabbing at you, but you're just maybe pulling them off, like peeling them off you a little bit, but don't look at them. Just look like you're distracted. Yeah, you don't look at them. That is attention. Eye contact is communication, is attention. So yeah, just wait. Wait it out. A tantrum is a loss of emotional control at not getting their own way. It's not big emotions or big feelings. That's garbage, by the way. Whoever says that, I don't know anyone else out there who teaches parenting. I stay in my lane. But yeah, it's just garbage. All these mini therapy sessions discussing all the big feelings. Let's discuss it. What are you? Oh, geez. A tantrum is a loss of emotional control at not getting their own way. You do not need to validate anything around that. You should never talk about it. Nothing. Ignore it. It will go away. Okay? It's just a loss of emotional control. If you interrupt that, they're not going to learn how to get themselves out of it. You're ruining their whole process of getting themselves out of it. You're interfering in it. They will eventually go towards the light and stop tantruming if you just ignore them. Just ignore the tantrum. If they get violent, you physically restrain them to keep them safe. But don't look at them. Don't talk to them. Is it possible to teach patience to a 14-month-old? No, impossible. Impossible. You can distract, find something else for him to do potentially, but yeah, they're just going to go through stage after stage after stage. The more upset you get with these things, the more likely those things are to last. You know what I mean? Like, just think, okay, it's just a stage. If I just ignore it and just provide something else to do, he'll eventually outgrow it. Might only be a couple days even. Okay. Someone said, I think your daughter being able to work together is just a testament to the fact that you did a lot right. Yeah, I don't know about that. I don't want to brag too much about her, but my kids are fantastic. But anyway, yeah, we're best friends and we get along. We're very different personalities, but we have a lot in common. We're both really into fitness and healthy lifestyles, that kind of stuff. But yeah, we work very well together because she's the level-headed one. She thinks before she speaks, not with me, but when she's out and about, she thinks before she speaks. She's very level-headed, always thinks before she acts or anything. I have none of that in me. I have no filter. What you see is what you get. I never think before I say anything. Wherever you see me out in public, I'm the same personality everywhere. She's more reserved with other people, more because she thinks before. She has this really level head. So we're a really nice balance because I'm the crazy one. She's the calm one. So, yeah. But we don't argue or anything. If we do, it's just a bicker back and forth. Then we usually laugh it off and move on. Yeah, we're lucky. We don't like confrontation, and neither one of us has a temper. So yeah, we're very lucky. Love to know your astrology. I'm pretty sure I am a Libra. Yeah, and I don't know what my kids are or anything. I don't know anything about that stuff. Okay. My daughter's about to be 5, but extremely emotional. Is it too late? Oh, is it too late? She's tiny. She's only 5. I specialize in teenagers. It's never too late. Okay. Extremely emotional. If you're a leader, your leadership calms them down. They feel safe. They feel taken care of. They feel trust. They feel like you know what you're doing. It's a whole different ball game. When you are a leader, it calms them down. You have so much more power than you realize. They're looking to you for leadership. If you send your kids out in the world without a leader at home, they're going to be very vulnerable and susceptible to peer pressure, bullying, the drug dealer on the corner, the internet, the Kardashians. You get the idea. Kids instinctively search out a leader. So you want that to be you. You're the leader because you bring out the best in them and you're that safe place to land. You're the one they're going to come home and tell everything to. So they're not susceptible to peer pressure or anything. And it calms them down. They always have that place to go. They always have a safe place to land when they've got a leader. Okay, what age can patience be taught? When can discipline be taught? First time mom. They can start to learn. I'll give you an example of how I know that they can be really young and they can start to learn who's in charge. My ex-husband and I, the difference in when we would change the kids when they were little, he was more the pleaser because he just didn't have experience with kids before we had them, but I had tons of experience. So that's the only reason. So I was the leader. He was more the pleaser. On the change table, when they started doing, the rolling, the crocodile roll, we used to call it in Australia, when they're fighting you when they want to change their diaper. So with him, he would go, okay, if I get you a toy and here's a book he was always trying to negotiate with them, and they would just roll and roll and roll, and he had a terrible time changing them. Whereas with me, I'd say, I'm changing your nappy. In Australia, it's called a nappy. I'm changing your nappy. I'd put my arm across their chest and I'd change their diaper like that, like fast, and it was done. They didn't fight me very often. They just knew when mom said something, it was going to happen. That started at about 1 or 1.5 in there. So they can start to learn the difference that when I said something was going to happen, it was going to happen. It was on. I was always going to win those battles, right? So yeah, they're very, very young, but they won't really, the behavior board starts at 3. That's when they have the ability to stop and think before they act. Before that, it's consistent corrective actions. They don't really think a lot. They just have impulses that they tend to act on. Okay, so that's what you're up against. It's the impulses. That's tricky. So it's consistent corrective actions. They will eventually learn slowly because you need to repeat this. It's repetition, repetition. So if they hit you with a toy, you take a toy away, say no, and put it away where they can't get it. Stuff like that. Consistent corrective action. Every time they do something naughty, you say no, remove them from the fun or the fun from them. If there's no fun happening, you pick them up and say, okay, no. And then you go in their room, take a toy and put it away. You show them you're taking fun away. It takes time, but they eventually learn. They learn pretty quick who's in charge. But they're still going to do what they're going to do sometimes. Yeah, I remember one time watching my husband try and change one of our kids on the change table who was going through that real stage, like a corkscrew on the change table. And I remember getting a cup of tea and just leaning in the bed in the door frame watching. Oh, how about if I get you this? I was negotiating. That was fun. Okay. Good consequence for a 6-year-old who's physical and a 4-year-old who doesn't stop. Get the behavior board and just you'll see, it's all written out there. The behavior board is completely free. It's on BratBusters.com. So check that out and start with that. By the way, the Black Friday sale is for the boot camp courses. It starts this Friday. So it's funny, I said the Black Friday sale. I mentioned that earlier and on Facebook, I think, but I couldn't figure out when it started. It's called Black Friday, and I couldn't figure out what day it started. Yeah, I'm not the brightest bulb, am I? It's Black Friday sale. I don't know what day it starts, though. Dope. Crack me up. Anyway, yeah, if you want the course, hold off till Friday. I'm not very good at sales, obviously. Hold off till Friday because it'll go on sale. If you want to know more about that, get on the newsletter. That's where the behavior board's completely free. You can start that on your own. You don't need a course for that. That's completely free. And there's a little section at the bottom now for toddlers too. So that's on BratBusters.com. Be careful. There's a bunch of imposters out there pretending to be me and taking money. One of them his name is Joel Mayo. He's on Facebook. He's got 50,000 followers and he's taking money from people pretending to be me. We can't get him shut down. We've been trying for months now to get him shut down. But he's got 50,000 followers. People think my name is Joel Mayo. It's not. It's Lisa Bunnage and it's BratBusters. It's frustrating because he's taking money from people. That's what's bothering me about it. Anyway. My daughter is 10 and has started her period already. She's super emotional and sensitive. How do I help? You don't. You can't. Yeah, yeah. You can't. What do you mean? To stop her sensitivity and emotional stuff? Yeah, it's hormones. What are you going to do about that? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how to help you with that. By the way, the youngest kid I worked with, I think that got her period was 7 or 8. I know lots of 9-year-olds who start, but yeah, 10 is still really early. I was 12 when I started. But yeah, I can't help you. She is. I mean. You want me to help you control her emotions and sensitivity around a period. I can't help you with that. I'm all done with that. I am so grateful. My moods are like this. It's the same every day of the month. It's fantastic. But you're not asking about a 64-year-old woman. But yeah, I can't help you with that. I remember, this is funny. I don't really have a temper or anything, but I evidently got moody. I remember I used to work in this, I was the secretary. I was 19, I think. And I was working at the telephone company, and it was in the marketing department with all these young guys. They were all like 35. They had families. They were like a whole bunch of my big brother types, right? They were always goofing around, and I love being teased and all that. So what they did was one day, I evidently, I didn't snap at him, but I said, I don't know. I said, I don't know. And I had PMS, right? So, and I said, oh, I'm sorry. I said, I've got PMS. So what he did was he went, okay. And then he got a calendar out and he marked down the day, and he told all the other salesmen, he said, and he marked down every single month, the same, like every 28 days, he marked it for the whole year and said, just so you know, don't go near Lisa around that time. And every time someone new would come into the department, they'd ask what that calendar was all about. And then he'd whisper like this behind my back. And God, they were so funny. So yeah, they couldn't do anything about my mood swings. So good luck with that. If I didn't even know how to control my own, how can I help you control someone else's? It's hormones. The behavior board is on BratBusters.com. That's my website, BratBusters.com. Everything's on there, everything I've got. Okay. I don't quite know what your question is. Since your background is in teenagers, I'm curious how you manage poor influences on your kid. Clearly, the other kid is in distress as well. Yeah. So on my kid, specifically, I was the leader. So it keeps them in line, because my son used to say, and he hung out with a wilder crowd. He was gothic. He liked heavy metal music. If you saw him, you would run. I mean, he was a big, tall guy with long hair, like heavy metal music. But he was such a nice kid. But anyway, so he looked quite scary. But he always said I could never get in trouble because you were always sitting right here. So he used to complain about that all the time. So yeah, he was a good kid. Your leadership is everything. It's everything. It's connection. So they can tell you anything. They come and they tell you everything because they trust you. So that is your strength. No one else has influence over your kids when they've got a strong leader that they really respect, that respects them. It's mutual. You know, my disappointment was what kept my kids in line, but it was mutual. I couldn't have handled if they looked disappointed in me either. I would have just fallen apart. So yeah, it was very mutual. So that's your superpower, is that connection. But teenagers, you've got to let a lot of stuff go with teenagers. They're my favorite age by far. Okay, I'm going to read out my top 5 tips for parenting teenagers. Number 1, listen to understand and show empathy. You don't listen to gather information to lecture with, or they will shut you out. If they want your advice, they'll ask for it. They already know it anyway. Number 2 is you negotiate as much as possible. Hey, I want your dirty clothes in the hamper. What do you want from me? It's reciprocity, right? You're building mutual respect, mutual trust, mutual accountability. Number 3, don't sweat the small stuff with teenagers. If they do something stupid and it's not a big deal, just say, well, that was stupid. Do you want to hear what I did when I was your age? And laugh it off. Or do you want to hear what I did today? We all do dumb things. Allow them to do dumb things and laugh it off, just like you did. You did dumb things. You do dumb things. We all do. None of us are perfect. People tend to expect too much. They tend to expect more from their kids than they do from themselves. It's quite fascinating. Number 4, don't leverage the good times to discuss the bad times. I won't go on to into that one. But yeah, if you're getting along with your teenager, don't use that as a time to discuss all the things they've done that disappointed you. Huge mistake. When do you discuss the bad times? Never. What's the point? What is the point? And number 5, you can be a right fighter with teenagers, or you can be happy. Think about that. That's a good one with adults too. You can be a right fighter, or you can be happy. But yeah, your strength, you can't control other kids. You can only control yourself. You can't control anybody else. You can only control yourself. Your relationship with your teenagers, who are out on their own for the most part, right? They're out there at school. They're out there with their friends. What are you going to do to keep them in line if they have to do it themselves? The only power you have is your relationship with them. That's it. That's all you got. I won't go into it, but I mean, I think where parents get in trouble with teenagers is they try to control the teenager rather than strengthen the bond, the connection. Because when I'm hired to work with parents of teenagers who are going astray, they want to deal with the bad behavior. And I said, well, we can't do that. I said, well, maybe get to that in week 2 or 3. But I said, right now, all we're going to do is strengthen your relationship with them, because we can't deal with any of that other stuff until you've got a better relationship. You've got mutual respect. They need some power over you. So you can just yell at them and there's no consequence. You can just ground them and, you know what I mean? Like, it's just all this, like, you're trying too hard to be too tough and you can't figure out why it's not working. It doesn't work. You got to connect with them. Anyway, they are my favorite age, because when you know how to talk to teenagers and show respect to them, they're fantastic, because they're complex. They're, their brains are all developing, and they're great. I remember when I first went into a high school to offer to, there was a program, and it was mentoring troubled teens, basically. And I offered as a volunteer, and I offered to go in there. Well, you've never seen the principal so happy. They jumped on me like you wouldn't believe. I don't think they got a lot of people volunteering to do that. I won't go into it, but yeah, they were really happy to see me come in there and volunteer to do that. I've never been made so welcome anywhere I've ever been as that. Yeah, I'd like to come in and help with the troubled teenagers. Really? It's funny. And those teenagers were probably the ones who taught me more about myself and life than anyone else ever has. You open your mind and your ears and your heart to these kids, and they will teach you a whole bunch of stuff. One of them said to me, he said to me, it was the nicest things anyone's ever said to me. He said, I didn't like myself until I met you, Lisa. Wow. Now, how do you think that kid treated me? Pretty darn good. Yeah, you want your teenager to like themselves, or your kids, any age. You want them to like themselves when they're with you, because then they'll want to please you, or they won't want to disappoint you as teenagers, because they want to please themselves more. Because when they get higher self-esteem, that's what liking themselves is, higher self-esteem, they're going to do good. They're not going to do bad. You're dropping gems for us. Yeah, I don't just like to answer all your questions. I like to throw a lot of stuff in, because that's what I do in coaching. I actually don't answer a lot of questions in coaching. It's more, I figure out where they're coming from, and then we just get to work on what you need to do. It's, yeah, because they don't know where I'm taking them yet, so they can't ask a lot of questions. I do answer questions, but it's not the focus of coaching at all. It's more me guiding them on where we're going. I have a mission. Not with the toddlers so much. That's more responding to questions. But 3 and above, no. Okay, good question here, Bevan. I've watched a lot of your information on tantrums, but it seems to be for the younger ages. Yeah, it does, but it is for any age, by the way. Our 9-year-old is still throwing tantrums, ADHD. Yeah, it doesn't matter. How do we navigate that with a kid who is able to reason? Okay, he's having tantrums. It's a loss of emotional control at not getting his own way. And they usually stop at 3.5 to 4 years old. Tantrums past the age of 4, children only do what works. There has to be a payoff for that tantrum. There has to be something. You have to be rewarding it somehow with attention, pity, giving in. There's got to be a reward, or else he wouldn't be doing it at 9, unless there's some extenuating circumstances, which would be coaching. But yeah, does that make sense? They only do what works. So why is it working? Why is he still having tantrums at 9 years old? Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to figure that out, but there has to be a payoff. But I still ignore tantrums. Absolutely. I still ignore them with any age. I just let them go. I'm just like this, just waiting. Don't look angry, though. Don't look mad. Don't look like, ugh. Don't do that. That's judgment. That's shaming. It's blaming. It's going to accelerate the tantrum. So yeah, if they're having a tantrum, I'm just like, like this. And I'm just letting them have it. And I'm just waiting. Then when they're all done, oh, you all done? Do you want to go read a book or something? You want to go play a game? Then I connect. You ignore the crazy, which is the tantrum, and reward the calm. Tantrums are not full of big emotions and feelings. They're a loss of emotional control at not getting what they want. You do not need to address that. You don't need to address every single feeling and emotion that they get. It is a loss of emotional control at not getting their own way. You do not need to validate that. No attention to that whatsoever. None. When do you talk about tantrums? Never. When do you discuss bad behavior? Never. You deal with it and move on. Let it go. Where you put your focus, where you put your energy is what grows. Any recommendations for potty training? That is a whole course within my boot camp course for toddlers. By the way, the Black Friday sale starting on the boot camp courses this Friday. Get on the newsletter if you want to know about that, BratBusters.com. But potty training is a whole section. It's a mini course within the big course. You know, I had the mini courses, I had 4 toddler mini courses. Do you know why I got rid of them? I threw them all into the toddler course, all into one, because what was happening was, and there were standalones, but a lot of the time, I just never felt right about that, because if a kid's, you're potty training, and then he has a tantrum, it wasn't like enough. I felt like, you know, you're potty training, but he has a tantrum, and then you handle that wrong, the potty training is going to go wrong. I needed it all in together. Because, yeah, it just wasn't complete enough, I guess. You know, you can't just deal with one issue without sort of having the big picture, which is what the boot camp course is. That's why I put all the mini courses in a boot camp course and tons of other stuff too. But yeah, we just beefed up those courses. I think last week we finished. So they've got new videos, lots of new sections. They're the same, but they've just got a lot more in them now. Because that the toddler course, the boot camp, is only about 6 months old. No, it's not even that old. It's really new. So we were just, you know, beefing it up. Now it's ready. It's all finished. Okay. Okay, such a good question, Rebecca. So glad you asked this. This doesn't come up very often. How do you handle sick days? Are they like movie days, or do kids get sat in bed? My son is 3 and trying to get him to rest is ridiculous. Oh yeah, that's just watching movies all day. That you meet their needs and manage their wants. So yeah, if my kids were sick, we would sit on the couch. I'd get it all set up like a fort, and we just sit and watch videos all day, movies all day. So yeah, and then I'd bring them lots. So that's the only time they could eat, not at the table, was when they were sick. I would just bring them stuff. So yeah, I was just, yeah, they're sick. Treat them like a king when they're sick. And they understand the difference. Like I talk about exceptions, but when they're sick, that already is an exception. You know, I always say you shouldn't have exceptions, but they already understand they're not feeling well. So yeah, they're not in their right mind necessarily anyway. What if they're yelling mom during the tantrum? Help, I'm scared. Why aren't you talking to me? This is me. They're just manipulating you. You don't love me. I don't love you. They'll say anything to get you to break. They'll say anything, drag you into that tantrum. They'll do anything to drag you in. Don't let them overpower you. Stay strong, stay calm. You're just waiting. You're just waiting. That's just pure manipulation. Ignore the crazy, reward the calm. Absolutely. And tantrums are crazy. They're just a loss of emotional control, not getting their own way. I'm sure, I don't know who's out there teaching anything. I never looked at anyone else. I learned all this from kids, right? It's my own methods. But yeah, I know there's people out there teaching to discuss all this stuff, discuss a tantrum, talk them through it. I know people are teaching it because I have to erase all that stuff. Those people who are following that hire me later on when it all backfires because it ain't working. So yeah, it's ridiculous. You don't talk a child through a tantrum. That's the mini therapy sessions. You don't do that. Why would you do that? I don't even understand why you would do that. Let's discuss all your big feelings and big emotions. And they're screaming. Yeah. I can't even wrap my head around why you would say that, why you would do that. Because just to me, it doesn't make any sense at all. Another thing too is people say, well, should we hug them after a tantrum? No, because then you're going, oh, good tantrum. You're basically rewarding the tantrum. It's too close. It just happened, and now they want to hug. I would go, you're all right. Do you want to go read a book? This is after they've had the tantrum. They're just coming off of it. They're in the hangover phase of the tantrum. I want a hug. You're okay. Let's go play a game. Let's go read a book. Okay? I don't get dragged into all that emotion stuff because it's around the tantrum, which is not something I ever acknowledge. Okay, what's the Black Friday deal? You'll have to wait and see. It's going to be announced tomorrow in the newsletter. Go to BratBusters.com. I think it'll be all over the website too. I'm not sure. My daughter does all that. It's funny. She says she runs it. She tries to run everything by me, but this is me when she's, and this is what we're going to do on this day, this way. And this is me. She goes, Mom, are you listening? Yeah, whatever. She does. I 100% trust her. She does all that sort of all the social media stuff. What should I do when my kid lies? If they're 3 and above, put no lying on the behavior board. Just call it what it is. It's a lie. So say no lying, and when they do, there's a consequence. I got to go. I'm late for TikTok. So check out the link above. You can get my free behavior board, my boot camp courses, which are going on sale this Friday, Black Friday. And you can look into coaching. That's not going on sale. So look at it at BratBusters.com. Has everything on it. So I'm heading over to TikTok, and I'm on YouTube the whole time. Happy parenting. Darn it, now I'm late. I'm 2 minutes late. Dagnammit. I hate being late. It stresses me out. Okay. So I'm now on TikTok and YouTube. I really got started on social media with TikTok. That's right. It was 3 years ago this February, I think it was, that my daughter kept bugging me for a whole year. Mom, you got to go on TikTok. It's for you. And I went on and I blew up overnight on TikTok. I couldn't believe it. It was life altering. And, but yeah, who knew? No, it was 2 years ago. Yeah, anyway. Joining you from Instagram. Welcome, Bevan. You had, wasn't it Bevan _ something? Was that you? Okay. Your connection is very staticky. Not much I can do about that. It looks fine from here, but is everyone else having a problem? I had a meeting today with some people, and they said, "Oh, you're all stat." It was on Zoom, and they said you're all staticky, and I said, "Well, no, I'm not," and they kept insisting it was me, but everybody else was perfect. They were the only ones. I didn't have the heart to say, if we're all clear and we can all understand each other, and no one can understand you. It reminded me of that saying I always say, you can be a right fighter or you can be happy. Someone else pointed that out. That was funny. Okay. Fine here. Yeah, that was on YouTube. So no one else has said that. It just started on static on YouTube. Okay, so maybe, yeah, I can't control. There's nothing I can do. It looks fine from here. There's nothing I can do. Yeah, it's not glitching or anything from what I can see. Only the voice. Okay, well, I won't say anything interesting then. Not that I was always before anyway. Okay. Okay, how do you implement consequences? Check out my free behavior board. It explains it all. So you just have a rule, and you start small. I always call it 1 battle per week. You 1 behavior board in week 1, then you're going to have 2 behavior boards in week 2, then 3 in week 3. And then after that, that's the boot camp course. It teaches you what to do onward. Like, I would never use a behavior board. It's a teaching tool. And it teaches you how to be accountable too, because you're on there too. Everybody has a rule and a consequence. So check it out. It's completely free. Go to my website, BratBusters.com. It's completely free. And the courses, I have 2 courses, boot camp courses, one for toddlers, one to 3 to 12-year-olds. The Black Friday sale starts this Friday. It was funny, I was talking about that on Facebook, and I couldn't figure out what day it started. What day does Black Friday sale start? Maybe on Friday? Just stuff like that just cracks me up. I've got a really dopey thing going on. I don't know why I can't think straight sometimes. Black Friday. You think I could have figured out that was Friday, wouldn't you? Yeah, I couldn't figure it out. It either starts on Thursday or Friday. I'm not sure. Well, no excuse for that. Okay. And it's not my age. I'm 64. It's not my age. I was always like this. I always had a bit of a dopey edge going. Like I never got the email for it. If you're having problems getting the behavior board, we have beefed up how you get it. You have to jump through a few hoops. You have to subscribe and confirm your subscription in Podia. It's a legal thing. We can't just get an email and send stuff out to you. It's illegal to do that. We need to get an email. We need you to confirm it and then confirm it and then subscribe it. You know, it's just, you have got to jump through a few hoops to get on that newsletter. So yeah, once you've confirmed your subscription, you'll get it. But we've beefed up the instructions on how to do that. So, because so many people were having problems with it. They would just go in there and then expect it to come, but it doesn't. You have to go through a couple things. It's a legal thing. Yeah, we're legally not allowed to just collect an email and send you out newsletters. It's illegal. Okay. It's your back pain that makes your brain messy. Oh, it could. No, I didn't. No, I always had a messy brain because I'm always thinking about 20 different things. I don't have ADHD or anything like that. I can focus, but I don't choose to. But yeah, back pain does a lot of things to me, but my brain was always messy. I always had a goofy edge, and I think that has helped me a lot with kids because kids like silly and goofy stuff. I'm 64. I love it. I'm really goofy. And I always was. I said to my daughter, I said, I'm like a 64-year-old toddler. And she goes, well, you're not, she goes, you're actually not. She goes, but you have a sense of wonder. I get very excited by things very easily. And I just love news. I love it when someone says, like if I say, I'm always black and white. I'm so opinionated. Oh, I hate that. But if someone says, well, you might like it, give it a go. Oh, okay. And then I end up liking it. I have no pride, no dignity. Like I'm very easily influenced. So, but yeah, and I think kids are like that too. So I think that that's helped me to relate to kids because they love silly, they love goofy, they have no airs about them. Neither do I. And I relate to kids. I just understand them. I get that. Okay. Oh, thanks. Someone said you look good for your age. Years and years ago, I've always been into fitness in a big way. And I go to the gym every day. I'm really into fitness. And I remember about 40 years ago, someone couldn't understand why I went to the gym before work. Like I'd go at like 5 a.m. every morning, and they couldn't figure it out. And they said, why would you do that to yourself? And I said, I want to be, and I remember saying, I want to be in my 50s. I'm in my 60s now. I said, I want to be in my 50s and still really fit. And then this woman said, I can still remember her name and everything. She said, oh, shame about the face though. She wasn't trying to be mean. I just thought that was funny. Like you can't work on the face, right? You can only work on the body. So that was funny. Yeah, shame about the face. Not much you can do about that. And I'm not going to have any surgery. So I thought that was hilarious. I don't even know if I introduced myself on here. I think I did. TikTok. Sorry, I just go to so many different platforms when I'm doing these lives. So I'm Lisa. I'm a parenting coach. You can check out BratBusters.com. See my free behavior board, my boot camp courses. The sale starts this Friday, Black Friday sale. Just on the boot camp courses, not coaching. And you can look into coaching. My daughter and I just did a poll. I would love it if you would let me know. If you're watching the podcast, we've been asked to do 2 a week or more a week. We only do 1 a week. We're brand new at this. We've only been doing it for a couple of months, but it's just been going amazing, far beyond what we expected. So, but now we're planning on starting to do 2 podcasts a week. If you'd like to hear 2 podcasts a week, we'd love to hear from you. Yes, yay or nay. You know, would you listen to 2 a week? It's just my daughter and I do it together. So anyway, it's BratBusters.com, or it's BratBusters podcast, and it's on all the platforms. So yeah, we're hoping to get that going next week. But we just did a poll, and most people said they want more Okay, this is interesting. My 6 and 8-year-old keep breaking or messing up the stuff I buy them, including their beds. Help, please. So they have no respect for what you get them. Maybe they have too much. Is that it? They have too much stuff. I would get a toy rotation in place for one thing, so they only have a few things out at any given time. And whenever they break something, I don't know what I would do. I'm not too sure what they're doing. They're messing, and you mean they're messing up their bed? They're just messing it up. Check out the behavior board and maybe put something on there saying, I got to be careful with that. I don't quite know what you mean by what they're doing. So, but I would put a rule on there. Be careful. Don't make it anything too big. It just means that they don't respect stuff. So maybe they have too much stuff. That could be it. Husband and I disagree on making a 2-year-old apologize for hitting and throwing. Why would you bother? Why do you want a 2-year-old to apologize? It doesn't do anything. Nothing. Sorry, and then they do it again. Sorry, and then they do it again. It doesn't stop the behavior. Apologizing, the basis for that is remorse, and 2-year-olds don't tend to have that. They might have a fleeting split second of it just because they got in trouble, but yeah, you're relying on remorse there, and I don't have them apologize. I wouldn't bother. I do a consequence. Say if they throw something or hit, say no, and then you remove them from the fun or remove fun from them for a period of time. Don't do timeout. When you remove them from the fun, you're taking them with you. Timeout is done alone. I hate timeout. I think it's mean. Yay for the podcast. Thanks for that. Okay. We are planning on doing 2 a week. It's really funny because my daughter and I are business partners, and she's behind the scenes. She does all the sales, marketing, and planning, and I'm obviously the product that she's doing that for. So, but yeah, we work beautifully together, but she doesn't like being in front of the camera. And the podcast goes, you can see it. It's a video on YouTube, and she doesn't like the being in front of the camera. And so, but I love it. I love talking to you guys. And so, so after 2, we'd usually do 2 or sometimes 3, and then we throw one away that we don't like. So we'll film 2 podcasts at a time. And then I say, do you want to do more? I'm all pepped up. I could do 10 more. She's like, God, no, I've only got 2 in me. They just drain her. It just strikes me as so funny. We're so different. But then she's great at all the behind the scenes stuff that I have no patience for. So I get easily distracted. I procrastinate. I goof off. Yeah, she's great at all that. Okay. Any suggestions on attitude or sass or talking back? It's a tell. It means you're not a leader. You got to work on yourself. They do not sass a leader. You don't have any respect. Work on giving respect to get it. That's all I teach here. Check out the behavior board. You can look at my boot camp courses or look into coaching. The Black Friday sale starts this Friday on the courses only. So you might want to hold off till then if you want a course, but the behavior board is completely free. You can get that now. You just work on yourself. Their sass, back talk, and attitude is a tell. It means they don't respect you. That's all it is. Everyone wants to fix their kids. That's not what we do here. We fix and teach parents. And the kids react to that. I've worked with hundreds of kids, and I got respect with all of them. Teenagers, toddlers, I got respect with all of them. Did I just happen to get them on a good day, or was I a leader? They will reflect your leadership. I use this analogy. Let's say you've got 3 different classrooms, and teaching is very different from parenting, but this is just the example I use. So let's say you've got 3 different styles of teaching. One's the authority, one's the pleaser, and one's the leader. The first one is the old-fashioned authority. You take 30 kids, you put them in the authorities class, and they'll be good with the authority when the authority's looking. When the authority looks down, or when the authority leaves the room for a minute, bedlam. You take those same 30 kids, put those in the pleaser style class, and it's bedlam. When the pleaser style teacher is looking at them, looking down, or leaves for a minute, bedlam. You take those same 30 kids and move them into the leaders class. They're good when the leader's looking at them, when they look down, and when they leave the room. Not only that, when the leader comes back in the room, they tell the leader how good they've been when that leader was gone. A leader brings out the best in kids. You ask any principal or teacher about that analogy, they'll agree. You can take the same 30 kids, and they're very different with different styles of leadership or lack of. Okay, so it's never the kids. It's the adult. It's the parents. By the way, I don't teach teaching. I don't know anything about it, but a huge portion of my clients are teachers, principals, and child psychologists. I couldn't do their jobs. Those are businesses. They're different. Some stuff does cross over, but a lot doesn't. So yeah, I could never teach or anything. God, I'd rather have a needle in my eyeball. I couldn't do it. I teach connection, parenting. Like I teach one-on-one connecting with kids basically. And teaching is managing a whole bunch of kids at once. Wow. I could not have more respect for teachers. Do you know how many hours and hours and hours and hours I've spent in the back of classrooms helping teachers manage difficult kids, just taking them off their hands for a while and watching what the teachers go through. Wow. They're freaking saints. Okay. When tantrums get bigger and bigger when ignored, that means that they know if they keep going and they get worse and worse and worse, then you'll eventually cave in. That's all that means. You just have to outlast them. They're just winning. They know that if they keep going and they get worse, they usually do get worse before they get better. Because they go, wait a minute, I was in control of you before. You think you're going to take control and ignore me? Wait till you see what I've got up my sleeve. So yeah, they usually do get worse before they get better. Good question. Is it okay to ignore screaming fits? It depends on why they're doing that and the age. And yeah, I don't know. Is it a tantrum or is it just constant screaming? That can be different. I need to know the cause for that. So I need to assess that situation because a screaming fit can be different from a tantrum. Do you have steps to become a leader? Not really, but I have a course on that. But okay. These are my top 3 leadership qualities. The reason I don't really have steps is there's a lot involved. And basically, this is how it goes. I'll tell you how that course goes. The 3 to 12-year-old course, that is sort of 5 weeks to become a leader. The first week is a behavior board. The second week is another behavior board. The third week is another behavior board. Now you got 3 different rules, 3 different battles that you're working on, okay? Now that you've got some of the skill under your belt, by week 4, we move off the behavior boards. You can still use them, but we're not focused on them. Then we deal with everything. So not just those 3 rules. Now we deal with everything in week 4. And week 5 is rinse and repeat and just keep doing the same thing. So you got to learn that the behavior boards are just teaching tools to teach you how to give respect to get it. You're accountable. That's basically the steps involved, okay? But with toddlers, there are no steps. Whenever people hire me for coaching and they've got toddlers, or if they buy the boot camp course for toddlers, it's basically just here's all the information if they do this. If they do that, look it up. It's in there. So it's reacting to what they do. They're all so different, and there's not a progressive thing that happens, basically. But by learning how to deal with all of these separate issues, that is your leadership. Anyway, these are my top 3 leadership qualities. Number 1, be calm during the storms. That's when you're disciplining and they're out of control. You stay calm as anything. Number 2 is you be crazy during the rainbows. That's when everything's happy. That's the connection. That's the bonding. That's the relationship, the fun. Just be crazy. Run around the house with underpants on your head chasing the kids like I used to do. Yeah, I was nuts. My daughter said she didn't realize I was crazy until her friends would come over and go, "What's with your mom?" I was nuts. I love laughing. I love a happy house. So yeah, be crazy during the rainbows. And number 3, be a great listener. You listen to understand and show empathy. You don't listen to gather information to lecture with. I raised problem solvers. I didn't raise kids who looked to me to solve their problems. Big difference. Confidence, dependence. I wanted confident kids. So those are my top 3 leadership qualities. What else do I have here that I might want to talk about? I don't just answer questions. I like to throw in stuff that you might not think to ask, right? One thing that gets a lot of traction, and people have a lot to say about this, is I say people tend to overpraise and underplay. It doesn't mean that you can't praise your kids, but play is so underrated and praise is so overrated. Kids don't really care about praise. It's okay. You can pepper it in. It's okay. But you take this 5-year-old little boy, I use this example all the time, 5-year-old little boy, you say to him, you're wonderful, you're smart, you're special, everybody loves you, you can do anything you want. And then you say, I'm going to go do the dishes now. Look at his face. You take that same 5-year-old boy and you say to him, hey, what are you doing? Can I play too? Look at the difference. What's his love language? Praise or play? You can praise, but don't do it instead of play. Don't think, oh, I just praised him, now my job is done, I can go read a book. He doesn't give a crap. He wants you to play with him. Fun is his love language. Do you know what's interesting? I always say I can relate to kids because I kind of am one still. I don't like compliments. I don't like charm. Oh, he's so charming. I'm like, whew, stay away. What's hiding behind that? That's all I ever think. What's hiding behind that? You know what I'm saying? You get it? kids are kind of the same. They don't want charm and praise and compliments. They don't want that. They want you spending time with them. Have fun with them. That's me too. I want to have fun with people. I don't want to be praised and complimented. It's okay, but it's not my love language at all. What I really like, dislike, playing. You mean what if I really like, dislike playing? I get this a lot in coaching. It depends on the age. I'll tell you a cute story. This one, I love this story. This mom, she never really played with her little boy. I think he was about 8. She never really played with him because she didn't like playing with kids. She goes, well, I read to him, and she goes, and I take him places and watch him play, but she never played with him. So anyway, I said, okay, so your rule on the behavior board is no yelling. If you yell, you have to play Lego for 30 minutes. She didn't want to do it. She goes, well, I've never played Lego. I don't want to do it. I hate it. And I said, but you have to. You just have to. Anyway, I finally convinced her. I think by session 3, she finally agreed to do it. I can't remember where we were, but she didn't want to do it. And finally, so she comes back and she said, well, I did it. She goes, I yelled, but she goes, I didn't play Lego with them for 30 minutes. And I'm like, oh, crap. She says, I played for 3.5 hours. I'm like, what? She goes, she couldn't believe this because they were always fighting. You know, they didn't have a great relationship. That's why she hired me. So she said when she sat down to play Lego with him, he crawled in her lap, and the whole time he was rubbing the top of his head on her chin. Like, she couldn't believe it. All she did was sit on the floor and play Lego, and she couldn't believe the difference in her son. She goes, it was the best time she'd ever had with him. So yeah, it's the connection that you'll end up enjoying. So I can't really help you here because I don't know the age of your kids and I don't know what they do, but usually you can find something that you can both sort of enjoy, right? But it's the connection that generally keeps the parents playing. Watching your kids laugh and having fun, that's usually the payoff. Anyway, I got to get going. Check out my website, BratBusters.com. The Black Friday sale is on the boot camp courses. The toddler one and the 3 to 12-year-old. It's not on coaching. You can look into coaching. I do have a wait list. I'm hoping I just finished with a whole bunch of clients this last week, like their last sessions. Unfortunately, a lot of them signed up again, so I couldn't take on a lot of new clients because a lot of clients hire me 2, 3, 4 times, right? So, but yeah, they just, I thought, great, I'll be able to get all these new clients and, you know, because I got a wait list for coaching, right? And then all these people signed up again. So the wait list is growing, but I hope to get to it this week. So anyway, thanks so much for joining me. The Black Friday sale starts on Friday. When I was on Facebook, I couldn't remember what day the Black Friday sale started. So anyway, and on Facebook, if you ever see me on Facebook, there's a guy called Joel Mayo, Joel Mayo. He has a channel imitating me. He just uses all my videos and he says, like, I'm Joel Mayo. That's what he's doing. Anyway, he's taking money from people. He has 50,000 followers now. We have tried to get Facebook to shut him down. I don't know why they won't. He's impersonating me and he's taking money from people. That's what's bothering me. He's taking money from people. So anyway, if he wasn't, I wouldn't care. But anyway, so long as my information is getting out there. Anyway, thanks so much for joining me. Happy parenting, and we'll talk again soon.